Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for today's Resources of the Week series. My name is Sahra and I'm from Mindscape Psychology in Leichhardt in Sydney. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about self-esteem and in particular building our self-esteem. Now, I see a lot of adolescents and teenagers and young adults and I guess just people in general at different stages of their lives who have struggled with self-esteem issues and identity issues and generally just feeling pretty crappy about themselves for a considerable amount of time. And when we think about building self-esteem, it's almost like, okay, I now need to suddenly start feeling good about myself, potentially after having felt really terrible about myself for a really long period of time. Now, if we think about what self-esteem actually means, self-esteem means not just how I think and feel about myself, but believing that I have a sense of worth, that I have a right to be here, that I can feel really great or really special or really fantastic about myself in particular ways. And these qualities that we might think of as sort of comprising self-esteem can be really quite complex and can be shaped by a whole number of factors. So what I wanted to kind of go through with you guys today is how we can start to examine how our self-esteem has developed over time, and then what can we do to start to maybe make some positive changes to get us to start to think and feel a little bit more positively about ourselves. So first of all, the question that I would really like to ask everybody is, where have we learned to feel about ourselves what we actually do feel about ourselves? Where have those beliefs, those thoughts, those messages, where have they come from? Have they come from external to us? You know, it might be things like how our families, how our siblings may have taught us to think and feel about ourselves. Sometimes it can be a bigger picture kind of issue. It might be how our culture or our society around us might shape the way that we think and feel about ourselves. Sometimes it's some of the messages that have originally come from external to us that we've taken on board in ourselves. We've internalized those messages. So it starts to become, what do I tell myself about myself? How do I talk to myself? What do I think about myself? What are the messages that I'm giving myself? And once we start to parcel out what are some of the messages that we're giving to ourselves, we can start to answer some of the questions. I think I posed these questions in my vlog about shoulds and expectations. We can ask ourselves whether or not those messages are healthy or helpful for us to continue to believe. And if they're not healthy or helpful for us to continue to believe about ourselves, then what can we do to start to change some of those messages? What can we start to tell ourselves that might be a little bit different? And that's where the self-esteem building comes into it. Now we have to start giving ourselves alternative messages. So part of this is being able to figure out, what is it that is important to us? What is it that is something that I stand for? Who am I, in fact? And I've just noticed it started to rain, so I'm sorry if the rain noise gets a little bit loud here. If we start to think about what's important to us, what I stand for, what is valuable in my life, then I can start to figure out, how do I feel when I'm engaging with some of those things that are really important to me in my life? But also, what are the things that keep me from engaging in the things that I really want to in my life? What are the barriers? Sometimes the barrier can be fear, really just high anxiety about stepping outside of my comfort zone and wanting to do the things that are important to me, but maybe not feeling like I can. We might feel as though that fear is really getting in the way of me being able to be the kind of person that I want to be, the kind of person that I might like, or the kind of person that I might be proud of. Fear, though, can also be a really fantastic motivator, because I think if we think about how might I feel if I don't go out and do the things that I really want to do, how might I feel about myself then? And that's when we can start to build some courage for ourselves. Maybe try to figure out a way of putting ourselves outside of our comfort zones, trying something new, and maybe doing something that we're really going to love, that we're really going to enjoy, that we're really going to be proud of ourselves for. And that's where we get that beautiful sense of improving our self-esteem, through that sense of achievement, and through doing things that are really important to us and for us to do. Now, when we're doing stuff that we're really loving and that we're really enjoying, we need to also be positively reflecting on those actions. And that's where things like gratitude and self-compassion can really play a key role here. When I'm thinking about what are the things that I've achieved in my life, what are the things that I really enjoy doing in my life, I might be able to stop for a moment, reflect for a moment, and be grateful for the opportunity to have done some of those things. I might be grateful for the people who might be helping me do those sorts of things. I might be compassionate to myself if I've had to take myself out of my comfort zone and be able to step out and do some of the things that are important to me. And when we are practicing gratitude and when we're practicing self-compassion, we can really be showing ourselves that kindness that, again, comes along with having positive self-esteem. Now, all of this takes practice. And so what I'd like for you guys to maybe have a try is maybe write down some of the things that are really important for you to have a go of. Maybe you might be able to look at some of the qualities that you might have that are positive. Or maybe checking out some of the barriers, if there are any barriers that are keeping you from getting where you want to be in your life. Looking at how we can start to overcome some of those barriers. Building self-esteem is very much a process, and it very much takes practice. So I wish you guys all the best in giving this a go, and be kind to yourselves. Taking one step forward today means that it might be something that's going to make it easier for you to take 2 steps forward the day after that. So I wish you all the best. I hope that this vlog has been helpful to you, and I will catch you next week with a new vlog. See you then. Bye.